What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ravi Wadan, and in today's video, I want to talk about why the Rivian R1S Dual Standard is actually a great lease deal in terms of value. The leases right now are starting at just $699 a month, and the MSRP is roughly $76,000 or $77,000. You will have to put some money down, but I definitely think that if you're in the market for a Rivian R1S, I definitely think that you should lease one instead of finance one, and we'll break down the lease deal in this video, and I'll also show you why you should lease one because you're going to get some financial advantages and protections by leasing this particular SUV. In the first part of this video, what we'll do is we'll break down this lease deal and we'll kind of analyze it in depth, right? We'll get into the nitty-gritty like the due at signing amount, the taxes and fees that you can expect to pay, and how you can negotiate the due at signing amount and what the buyout amount is, all those nitty-gritty details. In the second part of this video, I'll explain why this Rivian R1S is a good lease deal in terms of value by using my 1.25% rule of leasing. And then in the third part of this video, I'll explain why leasing this SUV makes a lot more sense than financing it. And I was actually surprised how good this lease deal was, even considering that the $7,500 EV tax credit has since expired at the end of September. And it's still a really good lease deal. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the computer behind me and talk about this Rivian R1S lease deal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on Rivian.com. And as you can see, it says lease a 2026 R1 Dual Standard for $699 a month. So I'm going to go ahead and click on shop. And that's going to take me to all of the existing inventory that they have. And I'm going to sort by low to high in terms of lease price. And as you can see here, I found one, $699 a month. And the MSRP on this car, let me go back, is $76,990. This is the R1S Dual Standard. 258 miles of range. This is the standard battery pack. So I'll make other videos on the other trims like the R1S Dual and try, sometime in the future. But for now, they have this one, $699 a month. Not a bad deal. This is a beautiful SUV. I like Rivians. So let's go ahead and click on this and let's go ahead and price this out. Now, what I like about Rivians is here on the right-hand side, you're going to see everything, right? Full transparency. They're not hiding anything. If you're shopping for this car, they make it extremely easy. Here's all the packages and the options that this car has. And the vehicle price is $77,440 when you include the $450 transfer fee, and then they have a deposit due today of $500. Now, if we go ahead and click on lease and then we click on this calculator button, it's going to give us a full breakdown. So on a 24-month lease at $699 a month, let me see it, 24 months, $762. So we'll leave this at a 36-month lease. The monthly payment is going to be $699 a month. That's assuming a mileage allowance of 10,000 miles a year, excellent credit score, and a down payment of $6,500. Now, you have to remember that this $6,500 does not include taxes and fees, and depending on where you live, this can vary. But they do have this toggle here that says include taxes and fees for 98121, which is my zip code. And you'll see that the down payment and the taxes and fees have adjusted. Now, the total taxes and fees, we're looking at $1,465. And the estimated due at signing amount is going to be $10,584. Now, I'm not sure how Rivian negotiates. I've never shopped for a Rivian, but from what I know and from what I've heard, you can negotiate this due at signing amount, and you should negotiate this due at signing amount. And you should try to negotiate it to $5,000 or lower. And then the remaining $5,000 you would just, roll into your monthly lease payment. And every $1,000 that you roll into your monthly lease payment is going to increase the payment by about $30 a month. Now you can see that the monthly payment also has sales tax included. So it went from $699 a month to $773 a month. But yeah, so this is actually not a bad lease deal in terms of value. I will run my 1.25% rule of leasing. But before that, I want to talk about what the due at signing amount includes. As you can see here, it includes the first month's payment. It includes the $500 deposit. It includes the $895 acquisition fee. And then all due at signing, additional due at signing fees include tax, title, license, and registration. And this $10,584 is inclusive of tax, title, and registration. Now, if you go over the 10,000 miles a year, you're going to pay 30 cents a mile, which is pretty steep, right? Some brands are like 10, some are 15 cents, some are 20 cents. 30 cents a mile is definitely on the higher end. So if you know you drive 12 or 15,000 miles a year, let's do 12, the payment's going to go to $797, and that's going to be much cheaper than paying a 6,000 mile excess mileage penalty at 30 cents a mile. So you're better off getting the mileage that you want up front rather than paying the excess mileage penalty, so you'll save some money there. So in this part of the video, what I want to do is run my 1.25% rule of leasing. Now, this is just a metric. It's a calculation, a simple calculation. I'll show you how to run it in a minute. But anytime you get a number over 1.5% at the end, when you run the calculation, over 1.5%, that typically is a vehicle that you should finance and not lease. The savings of leasing are negated anytime you're over 1.5%. If you're under 1.5%, that's what I consider a good lease deal. If you're under 1.25%, that's what I consider a great lease deal. And anytime you're under 1%, that's what I consider an amazing lease deal. And those 1% lease deals are extremely, extremely hard to find, especially now that the $7,500 EV tax credit's gone. But yeah, let's go ahead and run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this Rivian. So the first thing we're going to do is take the due at signing amount, which is $10,607. So $10,607, then we'll subtract the monthly payment, including sales tax, from this amount, and the monthly payment is $797. So subtracted by 7,797, and you're looking at $9,810. Then we'll divide this by the term, which is 36 months. So all we're doing is taking the due at signing amount and breaking it up into 36 equal parts. That gives us $272.50. And then what we'll do is we will add the monthly payment back in, $797. And this is going to give us an effective monthly payment of $1,069.50. So essentially, if we take this number and multiply it by 36, that's going to be the total cost of the lease over 36 months. Now, what I'm going to do is divide this by this vehicle's MSRP. And the MSRP on this Rivian is, let me just go down, is $77,440. So we'll divide this by $77,440. And we'll multiply this by 100 to make it a percentage. And you're looking at 1.38%. So as you can remember, anytime you're under 1.5%, that's definitely a vehicle that I would rather lease instead of finance. And this is sitting, well under 1.5% at 1.38%. And definitely for vehicles that depreciate heavily, you definitely want to lease them, even if they're over 1.5%. But this is not only under 1.5%, but it's also a vehicle that depreciates heavily. So leasing this Rivian R1S is a no-brainer. Now let's actually talk about the out-of-pocket costs and what you're going to be looking at if you were to finance this Rivian R1S versus lease it. So, okay, let's go ahead and look back, and let's go ahead and open the calculator. And I'm going to go back to lease, 36 months, include taxes. We're looking at $10,607 due at signing. Now we'll click on loan. What's the 72-month APR? Let's see here, 4.49. So let's just go ahead with 72 months at 4.49. Let's do the same down payment, which was, excuse me here, it was $10,607. So down payment, I'm going to use the same down payment as the lease, just so we're comparing apples to apples. And we have taxes and fees included for the finance term. Now, as you can see, actually the APR went to 6.39%. What's it at 60 months? Is that because I'm not putting that much money down? Okay, so let's go ahead and actually run this, right? Because I don't think that many people are going to put $30,000 down or whatever they're asking for before this. So at 72 months, you're looking at a monthly payment of $1,306 a month. And if you were to lease this car with the same amount of money down, you're looking at $797 a month, right? So $1,306 minus $797. Let's go ahead and run the math on that. $1,306 minus $797 times 36. You're looking at $18,324 saved by leasing this car versus financing this car over 36 months. And the biggest thing here, ladies and gentlemen, is depreciation. And the reason I want to bring up depreciation is because a lot of people end up buying these EVs like Rivians and Teslas brand new. And then when they go to trade them in 3 years, they realize that they have $10,000, $15,000 of negative equity, right? So the loan on their car is higher than what their car is worth. And who's going to have to pay for that negative equity? You. So when you finance this Rivian R1S, not only are you going to typically have a higher down payment, you're going to have a higher higher monthly payment by about, what was it, $500 or $600? I can't remember. It was substantial. And then you run the risk of having negative equity 3 to 4 years down the road. So with leasing, you can save $18,000 and not have the risk of negative equity, which is the biggest financial risk when you're purchasing or leasing an electric vehicle. So that's why I think leasing an electric vehicle just makes a lot of financial sense. And if you wanted to keep this car or this Rivian for whatever reason long term, you can exercise your buyout option, right? So this does have a buyout option. Depending on the term you select and how much the mileage you select, you're gonna be able to buy this Rivian. I'm not sure it's gonna make sense to buy this Rivian at the end of 36 months, but you do have the option to buy it. So in my opinion, leasing is definitely the way to go. It passes my 1.25% rule of leasing test. You're going to spend way less money over 36 months out of pocket. You're going to be protected from the negative equity, and you're not going to have to buy gap insurance when you lease. If you finance this truck, you definitely want to get gap insurance. So if you have any questions about leasing in general or leasing this Rivian, and if you have suggestions on what car you want me to do next, let me know in the comment section below, and I will do it. Financial knowledge is power. Please like and follow for more.